Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 18th of November. So what we've got in store today then, he says. We'll start looking at the news events first, risk events coming out to the market. So we've already had inflation expectations in New Zealand there, coming up quite higher than expected. So accurate, going to 2 decimal places. Swissy, we've had positive trade balance coming out there. Aside of that, non-farm ADP in Canada, well, okay, we ignore that one. I'm just looking, I'm having to look at the yellows now because they've left out a load of speakers of late. And the speakers, there are some speakers this afternoon, but starting off with Fed Williams. Now I can't remember if Williams is hawkish or not. I'm just checking. Voting member, it's not a voting member at the moment, just checking that as well. 12, 18, 19, 20, 80. Okay, so no, not a voting member, but all the same, due to speak at Fireside Chat. Love this lady's titles, Fireside Chat. Just for a beer chat, gone down the pub chat. Anyway, moving on. So speakers there then. Nothing massive there in terms of news wise. Let's look at the technicals. Now euro yesterday, it very early in the Asian session, it pushed in a low and it never broke the low. It never went back and even tested that low fully. And I'm looking at these markets and also looking, I should have brought the yields back into play for just a second and just show you the yields just coming off a little bit. Still relatively high, but just coming off a little bit. And I'm just wondering whether we're just sort of seeing a little bit of, there you go, there's the peak, that near-term peak, and off it's gone again. And I'm just sort of thinking, well, we're on a little bit of a retrace here for the rest of the week, starting on Wednesday. The pound was pushing up yesterday, but there you go. There we go. So we've got just this sort of gradual sort of climb back up at the moment. Maybe a little bit of overdone. The markets, it's pushing up at this moment. Now of course this actual bar is as big as it's seen for, well, quite a while actually. Yesterday it was just in chop fest. It looked at one stage like it was going to break down the trend that was sitting there, trend line across the lows. It broke down that. Looked like it might have even run to the lows in the afternoon, didn't do it. We've been generally seeing sort of an afternoon run, just consolidated, pulled back in, and it's been running pretty much sideways since. Now it's pushing up, higher lows coming through, maybe a bit more positive. Can I do anything with it at the moment? No, but as I said, it's more bringing your attention to the movement there. So the pound, quite a bullish bar yesterday, continuation, solid movement. It basically built on the Asian session candle and just carried on pushing up. Had a lot of problems at one stage breaking the sort of 34.75 area, around that area, kept coming back in from that, but then eventually it's worked its way out and looking moderately bullish at the moment. Horrible day yesterday in terms of the price action with these candles. They just, you think they're going to go and then it may have a bit of continuation, but it was just an ugly day, so it was just left alone for me. Dollar yen, but looking more bullish today at the moment, he says. Could all turn around. Like the yen at the moment, the yen pitched up yesterday there. Yesterday it did pitch up initially, then sold off, and the yen itself strengthening against the US dollar here, and looking like it's got a little bit more in that store. We could even see the weekly pivot hit eventually, which is down here at 113.65. It just looks like it's sort of the consolidation round we're seeing here. Could, as I say, we could just see that followed through here. So it's a dollar yen. So looking at the moment, bearish on the dollar there, and the picture sort of runs through Aussie dollar. Again, we're seeing a little bit of a reversal this morning. Didn't catch it yesterday though, and it just looked a little bit softer on the commodity currencies yesterday than it did on the European currencies and the yen. Here we've got probably a bit of RSI divergence if we're going there. there we go, bit of RSI divergence sitting into the Aussie dollar. Looking a clean move up here at the moment, but it might be just an equally rather a clean move down. So I'm just watching this morning, but the momentum growing as it's pushed into this 50 may just provide some resistance. It's coming in with the sort of highs of those the bodies of those prior bars there. May just stall it. A break above the 50 well becomes just that bit more bullish, and as I said, it just may be a bit of dollar selling for a few days or a day or so. Canadian dollar, well, it's not really, it hasn't followed suit so much. It's got a bit of a movement now, but it's a bit slow. Again, I would imagine there's some daily divergence. Yep, daily divergence over those highs, just by nature of the calculation it would be there. Looking at on that, a bit of softness, there's a bit of divergence looking off the 4 hourlies as well, so it's through the time frame. 60 minutes not so much. It might have been on the MACD, but not even that actually. No RSI or MACD divergence here, but is selling off, heading towards its daily pivot. So again, remember this is US dollar, Canadian dollar, so it's the US dollar that's being sold off at the moment, the Canadian dollar benefiting as it comes off. Okay, so erring, as I said, erring on the bearish side. This is one of the currencies that my sort of favoured currencies. I'm looking for it sometime to actually get a wiggle onto the downside, but at the moment it's just carried on, so I've just left it alone. But maybe it's early signs. Not a lot else on the currencies there for now. You can just pick up the flavour of things, what's actually happening. In fact, I'm going to cheat a little bit and show you a heat map. So there you go, strength in the Aussie, New Zealand dollar strongest, Aussie dollar, commodity currencies pushing up. CAD had a slightly weak day yesterday, and it's continuing to have a weak day, and that may be more biased towards the oil prices coming off. Yen sitting on the fence a little bit there, but still is stronger than US dollar. The US dollar just weak against all the majors there and some of the subs. Euro strong day side of the Aussie and New Zealand, so third place there, cable in fourth place, so that's where we're sitting at the moment in terms of strength. The one that's getting really whacked is the New Zealand dollar yen. There you go. A New Zealand dollar, US dollar, yen. It's fine. Okay. Right, let's have a look at the commodities. So commodity-wise, gold, yes, they managed to hold up. It looked a bit zippy at times, but just here we go. It just was pulling back and short-termism, and there you go, little pullbacks or whatever else, but pushing back up again. Again, it's sitting in between. It's a bit like the euro in terms of sitting in between its daily pivot R1. It's bound to hit one, but which one? It's a bit early in the morning, but at the moment it still looks moderately bullish, the gold, and moving pretty decently. I mean, it's that move off the air kiss of the weekly pivot there has pretty much seen it bounce for the second, well, say second half, midweek. Looking, as I say, a bit more bullish. Oil, on the other hand, has had a bit of a hard time. Finally moving into sort of more bearish, mildly bearishness. I say, I'll be careful when I say this, but it has put, by breaking this significant low, this low from the 4th of November, it's given us a confirmed lower high. Now it's sort of come out of this sort of chop zone, running away a little bit at the moment. You don't know who's going to be wheeled out to slow that down, but for now there'll be quite a few people quite happy to see that running to the south side, mainly through the Asian session here. I have to read a little bit more myself to see if there's any key drivers for that, but growth, etc., the economic world growth is still expected to be pushing up high, but obviously supplies may be following suit there. Okay, so for now, oil heading south, retracements may give opportunities. I was just looking, there is a bit of, I don't know, there is a bit of divergence. Sorry, I'm just double divergence across these lows here, so tread carefully. Right, let's have a look at the other markets. Just if I can switch across, and we're going to be looking straight into crypto markets as it's on. So a little dance still kicking around here. I'm erring on the sort of bearish side, wondering whether these are going to fall over a little bit more. Others are obviously calling them up and pumping their best to see them pushed up again. But as I say, I do wonder if we'll see a bit more of a correction. Don't like the current price action that's sitting in here, particularly with Bitcoin. Ethereum's it's been a bit of a cleaner sell-off there, but maybe would like to see a little higher low before I was more bullish, maybe even on the shorter time frames. And Ripple is just sort of shot up this morning, but then only to come straight back south again. So not looking the strongest, not holding on to gains. So still wary on those at this stage. Looking at the overnights in the Asian session. Hong Kong mark CSI 300 down then as expected. I'm still thinking that this is going to come off more, but China did mention yesterday, I think it was, or it may have been the day before, that they're going to go easier on their companies that are in construction. A bit late now, most of them are almost bankrupt or are bankrupt, but there we are. Nikkei overnight, well, gap down, and it's not really done too much, just filled the other gaps really. It's filled both gaps either side, not looking particularly. Doji bar, not obvious. Okay, FTSE continues south, and well, with stronger pound, it's not necessarily quite a surprise. Coming off some more here, and the FTSE, we're just seeing money running into away from the FTSE at the moment. Bigger potential interest rate increases, not so good for equity markets. Of course, with the ECB doing their best to pump out the same old story by every speaker there at the moment. It's well, the DAX is up this morning, and there we are in the CAC fractionally, but well, actually, just as I said there, it turned red. There we go, it's a kiss of death. So that's, to me, they're looking like they're running into a bit of an exhaustive move. You see the momentum, particularly the CAC there, just sort of the bars getting smaller and smaller, just the momentum coming out of this move. So looking a tad on the soft side. S&Ps yesterday, I'd have bet that they'd made new high, and they didn't. And today, well, we're pushing up a little bit at the moment, and we've seen the dollar coming off, so that all falls in line. So there we are, all making. Now the Dow Jones yesterday just made a lower high, confirmed a lower high, which is to me a bit of a softening. Now someone asked me yesterday actually, and I didn't answer it on YouTube, do apologise, but some people are saying you should short the Nasdaq, interest rates, inflation, as we've been pointing out. Yep. When should we start shorting equity markets? Well, it's all into your own risk, sort of where you see your signals. Wait for the signals. Now this is more to me of a bearish signal. It's pushing up at the moment, but maybe a break later. These sort of signals to me are the signals. When the market's pushing up like this, for me there is no signal. So the Dow at the moment is looking a bit softer. I would like to see if I was feeling a bit more confident on the short side, I'd prefer to see all three markets rolling but south. It just gives that bit more confidence in terms of what's happening. One market rolling, well, I mean, people have been shouting to sell the Nasdaq, the S&Ps for well over a year, and pretty much look what it's done. So I would wait until you sort of get those, these points where you've got an opportunity to sell, where you've got the lower highs coming through. They may be short-lived, but with interest rates increasing, eventually this sort of asset bubble might ease off a little bit. Okay, that's it for me. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now. There we go.